Hello, hello. Okay. Thank you all for joining week 3 of the Nonprofit Leadership Essentials training. Week 1, we talked about your role as the nonprofit executive director, the leader of your nonprofit. Last week, we talked about your mission and the importance of the mission. And tonight, we're going to talk about your board. If you have the Nonprofit Startup Guide, there is a section within the guide under chapter 2 that talks a lot about how to find board members, the role and responsibilities of the board, how to interview board members, and so forth. So if you all got already have access to the nonprofit startup guide, you will see some enhanced information in the guide as well. All right. So tonight we're going to talk about your board, the role of the board, and how the board is to assist you in leading your nonprofit business. Okay. And leading your nonprofit business. For those of you who might be newer to me, this is just a little bit of information about who I am. And we can get back to that. All right. What we're going to cover today is the role of the nonprofit board, the characteristics of an effective board, where to find ideal board members, the recruitment process, and retaining and engaging board members. That's what we're going to cover tonight. Again, in the Nonprofit Startup Guide, which is a part of the learning material for this training. It's not a requirement, but if you do find that you want more information about all that we have talked about, you will find that in the Nonprofit Startup Guide. Again, for those of you who might be joining us tonight for the first time, I am Jennifer. I am a nonprofit expert over 38 years of experience helping organizations put together plans and strategy systems and tools. These organizations that I share with you that I've worked at, it was my job. It was my job as the executive director. It was my job as the fundraiser. It was my job as the person responsible for bringing in revenue. It was also my job to help 1,000 organizations nationally and internationally raise funds for their nonprofit. So I just shared this with you to give you some clarity and understanding about my background and my expertise in this area. All right, let's dive right into it. Why are board members important? One of the things that not only is it a requirement of the government, right? When you apply for your nonprofit business, the IRS asks you about your organizational structure. The 1023 form, which is the application for your business to be recognized as a not-for-profit business. They ask you for a board list. They ask you for people who are going to be on your board. Now, what is the role of the board from the IRS perspective? The board from the IRS perspective is the IRS cannot manage all of the money. Everything to deal with the IRS is money. Anything to do with the IRS is money, right? And so the IRS cannot manage all the money that goes to the nonprofit space. So they have said, listen, we can't manage the money. Whose money are we managing? The public's money. Put public in the chat. We are managing the public's money, right? Your donors, your funders, your supporters, your sponsors, your contributors. These are public dollars, but dollars that are given from the public into your organization. So the IRS says we can't manage all this money. So we're going to put a system in place to help ensure that the public's money is protected. That's the role of the board. All right. That's one role of the board. The other part of the board is to ensure that you, along with them, right? They are leaders of the organization. They are a part of the face of the organization with you in their role as a board member. And so they, with you, are ensuring that the organization stays on mission. Why? Because you're using people's money. You're using people's money to accomplish a mission. So the role of the board is to work with you in partnership to make sure the strategic direction, the integrity, the confidence is built in the community so that they know they can trust your organization with their money. Am I making sense? Okay. So they are to provide strategic direction, making sure that you and the organization are honoring the intention of the public money, that you are being accountable to the public money, and that you, as a strategic direction of the organization, is able to maintain the trust of the public's money. Okay. They are to support with fundraising and resource development. Why? To ensure that the business, the nonprofit, can continue to achieve your mission. They also are to help you with legal and financial accountability. Again, you're dealing with a lot of money, a lot of money, a lot of money. Okay. And they want to make sure that the community, because that's where our money comes from, the community, our donors, our funders, our supporters, our sponsors, those that attend our events, they want to make sure, they want to help you ensure that the community can trust their resource with your not with their money, that they can trust the nonprofit with your money, with their money. Okay. Now, this is the truth. Many of you start your nonprofits because you're interested in starting the program. Okay. You're interested in starting the program. And because you are interested in starting the program, and because you wanted that piece of paper that said you are a non-for-profit, you didn't put much thought into who is it that I should have on my board? Like, what is it that the board is supposed to do? What are the roles and responsibilities of the board? You just put people down on that piece of paper because you wanted the piece of paper to say I'm a nonprofit so that you could do your program. Am I right? Am I right? So now we've put people on our board who don't have connections, who don't have influence, who are not able to help us build relationships, who have no experience in helping us raise funds, who have no experience in helping with the strategic direction of the organization. Now, they may be there to give you some advice, they may be there to encourage you, but they can't help you build relationships with the community. That's their job, is to ensure that the organization is able to grow and grow in their presence, in their credibility, in their visibility in the community. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Okay. What are the roles and responsibilities of the board? Governance, right? Compliance, ensuring that you again are operating with legal and ethical integrity. That means that the executive director is not taking all the money and going to Hawaii with the public's money, that they're not taking all the money and doing things with the public's money to do things that are outside the mission of the organization. Okay. They are also there for fundraising and donor engagement. They are there to assist that the organization is able to continue and maintain presence and credibility and mission accomplishment in the community. They're there for financial oversight. They approve the budgets. They monitor the financial health. They are a partner to ensure that the business, the organization, is financially healthy. Why is that important? Because without financial health, the program can't exist. Your mission cannot be accomplished. So they are there as partners, as advocates, to help with the relations, the community relations, the public relations. They serve as ambassadors to the organization. They serve as torchbearers to the organization. They help shape the direction and the vision of the organization in the community. So who are the people that are most likely fit to be board members? Just like a donor. A board member is like a donor. Who's a donor? A donor that understands the importance of the mission. The donor is a person that believes in the mission being accomplished, and they invest their money to that end. The board members are investing their time, They're investing their resource. They're investing their connections. Why? Because they too believe in the mission. They too believe in the importance of the mission. But see, some again, y'all wanted to get that piece of paper. And so you didn't interview board members. You didn't ask any questions. You put your mother, your brother, your dog, and catch a fish on your board because you thought all I needed to do was start my program. There was no strategic thought of who is it and what are the roles and responsibilities that these people must have when I put them on my board. What happens when this occurs? Jen, I got my board together, but they're not helping me. Jen, I got my board together, but they don't know anyone. Jen, I got my board together and they give me advice, but they're not able to help me raise money. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Does that sound? I got a board, Jen, but they're not doing the roles and responsibilities that you're talking about. They don't have the experience. They don't have the relationships. They don't have the access. They don't have the knowledge of. Now you got a whole business and now you don't know how to train them. They don't know what they're supposed to do. And now everything is halted. Am I right? Yes or no? Am I right? Yes or no? Yes or no? Put that yes or no in the comments. Am I right? Am I right? We got people, Jen, but they don't know. They don't know how. They don't know what to say. They're not helping me. So now I'm doing everything by myself. Why? Everything by myself, Jen. I didn't know that's what they were supposed to do. I didn't know. It's the I don't knows that got us, okay? These are characteristics of an effective board member. They are passionate about the mission, not your program, not wanting to help you. You guys may have put people on your board that are your friends, your mother, your brother, your dog, your cat, your fish. They're excited about helping you. I want to help. I want to help. Yeah, you need me to help? Just tell me what you need me to do to help. Just tell me what you want me to do to help. And you're like, I don't know. I just need help. And they're saying, well, how do you need help? I don't know. I don't have any experience. I don't have any experience on being on a board. I don't have any experience birthing no nonprofit. I don't have any experience. So then what? They can't help you. They can cheerlead, they can give advice, but they cannot participate. They can't engage, they can't initiate. They can't help develop strategy. Am I right or no? All right. So board members are passionate about the mission. They're there because they are connected to the mission. They have experience regarding the mission. They have an interest in the mission being accomplished. They have the time. They have the connections, and they want to share that. Why do they want to share that? Because they believe in the mission. Right? They bring valuable expertise. They bring connections. They bring relationships. Why? Because again, they're passionate about the mission and they understand that the partnership that they have with you as the leader of the organization, you manage the day to day. They manage the community. You manage the day to day. Your job as the executive director, your job as the CEO, your job as the person that is managing the day-to-day operations of the organization in partnership, in collaboration, in cooperation with the board, their role is external. Your role is internal. And together you are what? You are networking. Together, you are spreading the vision and the importance of the mission. They are doing it outside. You are preparing them. You are equipping them. You are ensuring that they have what they need to be successful in their conversation, in their relationship building, in the introduction process externally. Many times they're like, I don't know what to say, Jen. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to begin. Imagine this. You have a job and you come on the job, right? And HR, human resources, gives you an orientation. Have y'all ever had an orientation when you started a job? And the orientation says, this is what you need and what is essential to you to be able to successfully do your job. All right. These are the things about the company. These are key areas of the company that are going to be important to you. This is where this is, and this is where you go for that. We're just giving you an orientation of the company so that you can be familiar about the company. Many of you are bringing people onto your board and you're not giving them an orientation. You're just expecting them to be passionate about you and your program. Am I right or no? Jen, I'm telling them what our mission is. I'm telling them what an elevator pitch is, but we don't have a budget. We don't have anything to let them know what our asks are going to be. We don't have any idea of what our impact is. They don't know what is the result of our program because that's a part of the conversation that they're going to need to be having outside externally, right? What is the responsibilities that they have as board members? What are the commitments? What is the time commitment? To make sure that you have the right people on board. Okay? Where do you find board members, right? Board members, the best board members are your current volunteers or donors. I'm going to give you guys a quick story. When I was the vice president at the Los Angeles mission, we had lots of community engagement opportunities that were to benefit the participants of our program, but it was an opportunity for the community to see what we do up close, for them to participate in what we do up close. And so we would ask for volunteers to be a part of that. Those that showed up on time, those that asked questions, those that wanted to know more about the organization. Who are these people? These are people that are connected. These are people that want to know more. These are people that are interested in seeing the program and the mission accomplished. These are people that make great board members. All right. But again, because we may not know what a good board member makes, we just put down our mother, our brother, our dog, our fish, because we wanted the piece of paper. Not that we wanted people who could show, who could share their interests, put their interests. People who volunteer for you are expressing their interest in what you do. They are giving their time because of their interest. They are giving and making time because of their interest. The quickest way to find a board member is to do an engagement opportunity, an opportunity for your community to see what you do. And those that say, how can I help? Those that say, what do you need? Those that say, I have time, I want to volunteer. Why are they doing that? Because they're interested. You also get an opportunity to assess, are these people that follow through? Are these people that ask questions? Are these people that are on time? Are these people who are energetic? Those are the kind of people you want on your board. Am I making sense in what I'm saying? Board members could be business and community leaders. Now, recognizing that business and community leaders are busy, right? They've running their business, they got their job, they've got responsibilities, they got family, they got a lot going on. So you want to make sure that these community leaders have the time, have the interest in your mission. In the Nonprofit Startup Guide, I provide a list of interview questions for board members, okay? And one of those questions is about time. Another one of those questions is, why do you want to be on the board? What is it about our organization that interests you? You want to make sure that you are what? Putting the right people in the right seat. Sometimes I find that you all put people, I want to be a board member, Jen. I want this person to be a board member because they got access. They got a really important position. They know a lot of people. And then you invite them to be on the board and then they say, I don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time. Now, how effective are they as board members? But now you got them on the board. My thing is this, interview them before. Let them know what's expected before you put them on the board. And then you're disappointed and disheartened because they can't do what the role is. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? All right. Who else makes good board members? Former program participants, right? Networking within the nonprofit groups or the associations. LinkedIn and professional groups, faith-based and civics, all these areas mean that you have people that you can pick from, choose from, and interview. Put interview in the chat. Put interview in the chat. Put interview in the chat. How about this? Nobody gets a job without an interview. No one gets a job without an interview. Your board is a job. Now, I don't want to get into how y'all got the job of founder and executive director and you don't know the job. I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into that. All right. This is a learning environment. Catch me good one day on my TikTok and I'll go in on that. My point is this: it's a job. You have to know the job. And the job of the board is an important one. So you don't put people in a job that impacts your organization's visibility, credibility, and relationship path, and they don't know the job. That to me is insane. It happens every day though, because I didn't know. I didn't know, Jen. I didn't know. I didn't know I should interview them. I was just told I need board members. Jen, can I be the president of the board too? Jen, can I be on the board as well as run the organization? All day, no. All day, no. What part of no might be confusing? The N or the O? No. Your job is internal. The board's job is external. Your job is the day-to-day. Their job is community building. How can you do both and do them both well? Okay? The recruitment process. You want to identify the needs of the organization. What skills and expertise does your board lack? Okay? You want to do that assessment. You want to develop a board member job description. Put job description. Job description. That before you invite someone to be on the board, you let them see what? The job description. This is the outline of expectations. This is the outline of the time commitment. This is an outline of the duties. Can you do this job? Do you have the time or the interest for this job? Now, some people may say, well, Jen, that's just so hard. It's so hard, Jen. It takes so long to find board members. Listen, it is quicker to interview for the job than to put people in the job who cannot do the job. And then you still got to go and find new people to replace those people. Now, which one takes longer? Which one takes longer? Jen, it takes so long. It takes so long, Jen. You know, I don't like doing the board recruitment. I don't like, but I'll just put my mother, my brother, my dog, my cat, my fish to say I have a board member. They cannot help you do the job. They don't know how to do the job. They have no experience in the job. And now the job is not being done. But you have people on the board, but you don't have people on board. Y'all will catch that next time. On board. You don't want people just on your board. You want people on board with the mission, on board understanding why the mission is important, on board with their role and opportunity to help the organization to move forward. Okay? You're networking. You're reaching out and making personal, professional connections. Not everyone should be a board member, right? But who within your group or your sphere of relationships could be, right? Test them out. You don't have to put them on the board right away. Let them come and attend some of the board meetings. Let them come and be a part of your program opportunity as an engagement opportunity, right? Do the interviews and then train. If find that board people that the people that you have put on your board and they don't have the skill set, right? You might have put your mother, your brother, your dog, your cat, your fish, but they're very excited. They want to help. They just don't know how. You trust them. Then you might want to provide them training to equip them to do the job, right? Because if a person doesn't know how to do the job, then your business should want to train them. You should want to make sure that they are equipped. If you cannot train them, then is it in the best interest to get them training so that they can help you? Not getting them training. That means they don't know their job. You don't know their job. Now the job is not being done. It's going to cost you more money and more time. All right. Creating a board job description, right? Providing for them what the mission is, what the vision is, what the roles and responsibilities are. Again, in my nonprofit startup guide, I talk about what are the roles and responsibilities of the various positions. What's the role and the responsibility of the president? What's the role and responsibility of the vice president, the treasurer, the secretary? What's the role and the responsibility of the program chair or the fundraising chair, right? All the committees. Letting them know what is expected and you knowing what is expected. Many of you don't know what's expected of a board member, right? What are the fundraising expectations? What are the budgets of the organization? And what is their job or their opportunity in helping you to achieve that budget? That should be all up front. But what happens is we put our mother, our brother, our dog, and our fish on the board, and then we start dictating. We need you to do this. We need you to do that. We need you to fundraise. We need you to build relationships. We need you to do this. And they're like, I don't know how to do that. I've never done that. And now they can't help you. They don't know how. They've never done it. Am I right or no? Am I right or no? So know what the responsibility is up front. Can you do this? Do you have experience in this? Have you done this on a board before? If the answer to that is all no, then can we really have an expectation that they can help you? If you did not ask the questions up front, can you expect that they know how to help you? Am I helping somebody? Am I helping somebody? Interviewing board members. Why are you interested in serving on the board? What skill or expertise do you bring? How do you see yourself contributing to our fundraising efforts? Have you served on a nonprofit board before? What was that experience like? What is your availability and commitment level? These are only some of the interview questions. In the nonprofit startup guide, there's probably 24 interview questions. Okay. And this is going to help you to determine who makes a good board member. Now, when you have them on board, you're providing them with a welcome pack. You're providing them with an acknowledgement letter, right? You are assigning them to a board mentor. Now, that's ideally if it's not your mother, your brother, your dog, your cat, your fish. Assigning them to someone who either holds the position that they're taking or has experience within the organization and can work with them, walk with them through. This is the mission. This is the program impact. These are the ways and the relationships that we have. Why is that important? Because now you don't have to do it. All right. Host an orientation session if need be. Set clear expectations and goals when you're interviewing them. And then all of you as a team need professional development, right? Professional development. If you need professional development in the area of finance, if you need professional development as it relates to fundraising, if you need professional development as it relates to getting different types of donor or funding support, not knowing cannot be the option. We cannot stay in a place of I didn't know. And we're a whole business. And we're a competitive business. Okay? Retaining and engaging board members. Okay? Holding productive meetings with clear agendas. Put agenda in the chat. No meeting, I don't care what kind of meeting it is, should be more than an hour. Right? You should be sending out the agenda before the meeting. You should be sending out the agenda of the previous meeting so that when they come into the meeting, everybody understands this is what we're covering. Everyone knows the reports, We're going to have the program report. We're going to have the executive director report. We're going to have the financial report. We're going to have the fundraising report. All those things are covered on the agenda. Everybody knows what we're talking about. We know what we're voting on, right? Because everyone who's on the board who is a voting member should be present to vote on the decision. So that agenda lets them know these are the critical areas of business that we're going to be talking about. This is not an opportunity or a chance for, brainstorming ideas. I don't know. What do you think we should do? I don't know. What do you think we should do? Well, I think we did this last. I don't know. What do you think we should do? No, this is a business meeting. This is a business meeting. Okay. They should also know that they are a part of fundraising. That means writing thank you notes. That means acknowledging your donors. That means that they are a part of the role of the entire board, that somebody holds some type of position. Nobody can just sit there but vote. Now that's the part that kills me. Nobody wants a role, but everybody wants to vote. Everybody's got some kind of input on what you can and cannot do, or what they do or don't agree, but they don't have a role in moving the organization forward. They don't have a role in ensuring that the organization has the resources that they need. They don't have a role, but they can sure say, I don't think you should spend money on that. I don't think you should do that. Let me get off that. Let me keep going. The board should want you, as the leader of the organization, to have what you need to build credibility and increase capacity. The board should want you, as the executive director, to have what you need to be as strong an advocate for the mission and the mission accomplishment as possible. Those board members that say, "Oh, we don't have the money to do that. We don't have the money to spend on that." No, that's not a good investment. But they're not bringing in money to do the work. I don't want to talk about your mother, your brother, your dog, and catch a fish. I'm just going to say this. They don't have the best interest of the organization. I'm going to leave that alone and keep pushing. As a group, you all are celebrating the achievement of the mission, the growth of the program, growth of mission, and the presence and the awareness and the credibility, the awareness of the organization in the community. If you are the best kept secret, that you all are doing a great work, but you don't have any donors, you don't have any supporters, you don't have any sponsors, you don't have any support at all, but you are a community-based business, I look to you as the executive director, and I look to the board, because that's their job with you, is to ensure that your presence, that your credibility, that the trust is built within the community. That's your job. That's the job of the board, is to ensure with you that you have the resources needed to operate. If you say to me, Jen, I don't have any donors, I don't have any funders, I'm funding everything by myself, me and my board who give, a little piece of money here, a little piece of money there, but it's still not enough to operate. I'm thinking, how did we get here? Oh, I didn't know. All right. These are some common challenges that you and your board can have. Lack of engagement, community engagement, opportunity for community engagement, right? My thing would be this: who's responsible for that task? Who's doing that task? Who has made that task a priority? Nobody? Well, then that's why it's a challenge. Fundraising reluctance. They are reluctant to help raise money. They don't know what to say. They don't know where to begin. They don't know what to say first. They're scared. How do we get over that? They got to get trained. Because them not helping build the presence and the awareness and the credibility of your organization in the community, you're going to keep paying for this thing out of your own pocket. What challenges do they? Poor meeting attendance. They're too busy to attend a meeting. They got this going on. They got that going on. When they come onto the board and when they agree to be board members, they should have a map. They should know these are the meeting dates. All that should be calendared. All that should be set already. Before they come into the assignment, before they come on the job, they know that the work week is Monday through Friday. Nobody's surprised by that. Everybody knows this is the work week. When you come on this job, these are the responsibilities, these are the areas and the hours of the job. When they come on as board members, these are the dates of the meeting. Is or will any of these dates be a conflict of what you have going on? Or are y'all making it up as you go? Which one is it? Right? They lack the expertise. I want to help, but I don't know how to help. I want to help, but I don't know how to help. Should they be board members? Is there a role or a skill that they fill? Do you know the seats on the bus and the people that are the best suited for those seats? Do you? Because these people don't become board members without you. Did you hear what I said? They don't become board members without you. So my question looking at you is, well, how the devil did you put them on the board? How did they become a board member? You put them there. They didn't just walk in off the street and decide, I want to be a board member. No, you put them there. Did you find out, do they have any challenges? And did you offer any solutions? All right. These are your next steps. I want you to identify 3 to 5 skills or expertise your board members need, and then find out, do my board members have this? Do my current board members have this? Develop a board member job orientation. Does everybody know their job? Is everybody fit for the job? Have you guys put people on your board and you've been thinking, I need to get rid of them. I need to get rid of them because they're not helping me. They are not doing their job, but I don't know how to tell them because they're my mother, my brother, my dog, my cat, my fish. Have you looked at how ways of recruitment? Have you discussed what is it that we are going to need and look for? Have you planned and prepared for what you're going to give your onboarding board members? Okay? This is a business, y'all. This is not your hobby. This is not your passion project. This is a business. Your board function is a professional business function. This is not a passion function. This is not a program function. This is not an ideal support function. This is a function that the IRS stated is important for the community's trust building. Because let me tell you what happens. If you all take somebody's money and you don't do what the community thinks you should have done with their money, or they're not sure what you did with their money, they're not going to come to you. They're going to go straight to the board. And they're going to say, so listen, did you know that this is going on with the money? Did you know that the executive director is doing this? Did you know that the mission work is not being accomplished? They're going to go to the board. The IRS said we cannot manage all of the public's money. So the buffer, the accountability is the board. They're going to skip right over you and they're going to go straight to the board. We want to know, how'd you guys vote on this? Who voted on this? Who made the decisions? And everybody can't be shrugging and talking about, I didn't know. I didn't know that's what she was doing. I didn't know that's where the money was going. I didn't know. Then they're not doing their job. And lack of knowledge of the job is no excuse. Can you all hear what I'm saying? It's a professional position. Now, for those of you who don't like and trust people, Well, Jen, I don't like and trust people the board. What if they fire me? What if I put people on my board, Jen, and they fire me? Nobody gets fired without doing something that deserves to get fired. That's one. Two, the board's role is not the day to day of the organization. So one person cannot fire you. There has to be a vote. There has to be a majority. That's two. Number three, why would they fire the position of the person that's running the organization? They're not running the organization. But many of you don't know the role of the board. So what do? You bring them into the operations. You invite them into the day to day. I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do. I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do. Right. So now you done got them all wrapped up in operations, and that's not their purview. Their purview is external. But because you don't know your job internal, you then do what? Invite them to co lead the organization with you. So now they do know the day to day. So now they are acting as if they know more than you. Why? Because you brought them into operations, and that is not their role. That is not their purview. That's the only way that you could be suspicious, lack trust, is if you brought them into your job. They don't do the day to day. You do the day to day. They don't run the organization, you run the organization. So why would they get rid of the person that runs the organization? Because they don't run it. That only happens when you have brought them in to the operations. Jen, I got my board members and they're running the program. Jen, I got my organization and they're doing the fundraising. Jen, I got my board members and they're helping me do this and that. They're helping you run the organization. Why? Because you can't pay them, right? You don't have any money to pay anybody. So you brought these people in to do a job in the organization, thinking that that's going to, in some way save you some money, save you some time. I don't know. But that's not their job. That's not their job. And if they are doing the job of the day to day, who's doing the job of helping raise the money? Who's doing the job of building relationships? Who's doing the job of getting supporters and contributors? If they're doing the job of helping you run the day to day program, are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? All right, next week, we're going to be talking about fundraising. We're going to be talking about financial management and the finances of the nonprofit that you and your board are overseeing. Okay. That's next week's um that's next week's training. Okay. I want to ask if there are any questions, any comments, any questions, any comments, any questions, any comments.
I just have a comment. That's just rapid fire gold. Rapid fire gold.
All right. Thank you for your comments, sir. One question is it true that board members cannot receive compensation and can't be on the payroll? That is true. That is true. They cannot. They are volunteers. Why is that? Because they are out in the community speaking about the credibility, speaking about your strength as a leader. If they're paid to say that, that's a conflict of interest. They're paid to say you're doing great. Gosh, they're doing a wonderful job. They're volunteers. And according to your bylaws, right, they serve on terms. So they may serve for 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is, and then they're gone. So they are volunteers. Why would they want to volunteer? Because they believe in the mission. They believe in the direction and the viability and the value of your impact. They don't have to be paid. For those of you who think, well, I got to give them something, you're giving them results. You're giving them a great organization and a great experience to be a part of, and you're helping with them to achieve great result and meet need. That's what donors are. You don't pay donors and they give. You don't pay supporters and they give. They're like a donor. Okay? They're like a donor and they feel good, just like a donor does, when they see and are part of the organization achieving its mission. Okay? You want their experience to be good. You want to make sure that you're giving them a good experience, making it an environment that is strategic, that's well thought out, that you're not bringing them into a meeting and we're just sitting here brainstorming and we talking about what we've been talking about for the last 4 weeks, but we haven't done anything. It's their time. Be intentional, be strategic, appreciate them by valuing their time in these meetings and during these strategic business conversations. Am I being clear? Am I being clear? Let's see. Uh, let's see. Can I make someone outside the US resident a board member? And can they also be an employee? No, you do not want. Let me say this. If a person is an employee doing the internal work, then why would you want them on the board? Because their job is external. Why would you want them to be an employee as well as hold the position and the responsibility of the external work? They got to pick a struggle. Otherwise, they won't do either well. Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Regarding setting salaries for executive director, I believe it is. Is that something that's negotiated? Is that something that you just find a reasonable amount based on what you're doing, or how do you how does that come about?
So everybody is paid based upon their experience and based upon the scope of work or their major roles and responsibilities and deliverables. Everybody gets paid that way, right? So what you can do is go on Indeed and you can look for an average salary of an organization that might have, I don't know, $100,000 in revenue. Okay. So a salary means that you are bringing on a predictable expense. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. However, you've got to have the predictable revenue to pay that predictable expense. Now, how do you come up with the salary amount? It's based on experience. So you'll find someone that says a person with 2 to 3 years in this job, this is what the average pay is. A person who has 10 to 12 years of experience in this job, that job usually is a little higher, right? Because of the experience. So you can look for the average salary of a person based upon the budget of the organization. Now, if you, as the executive director, are playing two roles, you are doing running the organization as well as um running the program, then you get paid by the hour, right? How many hours a week are you running program? So let's say you're running the program, it's 1 hour a day, 1 hour a day for 4 days, right? So that's 4 hours a week at an average salary of $25 an hour per week times 32 weeks in a year, whatever. That's your salary for program. The remaining of your time is spent running the organization. So your salary or financial allotment is based on the number of hours that you are running the program because you can't get paid 40 hours running the program and 40 hours running the organization as well. Right? So if you're doing 4 hours a week on a program, and you're doing maybe 10 hours a week on operations or running the organization, what does that involve? That involves board, that involves fundraising, that involves marketing, that involves budgeting, financial oversight, that involves building relationships, all those other things that you have to do. Then you get paid for that in the hours that it takes. Am I making sense in what I'm saying?
Yes. And I know you have tools that you use. So for something like that to track hours, is there like a system that we use?
Um, your
Something-
bookkeeper, you should have either a timesheet or a record sheet. I have books and guides that do that, but you should be able to know how much time. Let me say this. You should know how much time you're putting into funding running the program. Why is that important? Because when you work your way out of that job, you now need to hire someone for that job and should be able to tell them this is how many hours it takes to run this job, to do this job. So your knowledge and familiarity with what it takes to execute those roles and responsibilities, you're going to want to know because you're going to eventually have to hire yourself out of it. You are the executive director. You're not a program director.
Okay.
Am I
Thank
making sense in what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's very clear. Very clear. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do board of directors get reimbursement for some expenses? It depends on what the expenses are. If there are travel expenses, yes. If there are food expenses that they're doing on behalf of the organization, yes. If they are getting things, and listen, expenses like with any job, nothing is done without an approval. Is it in the budget first? Whatever they're doing has to be in the budget. And so there has to be a reimbursement process, right? There has to be a pre approval process before you spend any money. Do we have the money? Do we have it in the budget for the spending of the money? But yes, it depends on what it is. If they're going to a training, if they're going to a retreat, if they're purchasing things on behalf of the organization, nobody spends people's money without knowing, is this a legitimate expense? Is this approved? Right? This is business. Can you put your salary in your grants? So your salary depends on what the grant funder will allow. The grant funder is not going to pay for the leading of the organization. They may pay for the work that's done in the program. They're not going to pay for the operations of the nonprofit. That's where your other streams of revenue come from, right? The grant funder might pay 10%, maybe 15% for admin costs, right? For the bookkeeping, for the financial reporting, for the for those things of tracking the funding, but they're not going to pay your full-time job to run your organization. Those dollars, those non-designated dollars, come from the other streams of revenue. Grants are one stream of revenue, and that's probably going to only make up about 20% of your overall budget. The other 80% is going to come from the other streams of revenue. And in those other streams, you can use the money wherever you want. Now, out of a dollar, out of every dollar, it's generally 27 to 30%. 30 cents out of every dollar goes to operations. That's your website, that's your fundraising, that's your accounting, that's your bookkeeping. 30 cents, up to 35 according to the to the Better Business Bureau, but it's generally 27 to 33%. All right? And then 70 cents goes to running the program. Okay. So let's say your budget overall, let's do the math. Let's say your overall budget is $250,000. That's usually the budget of a startup. All right. $250,000. 30 cents times 30 cents. That means you got $75,000 for operations. That's your salary. That's money for the phone. That's money for the website. That's money for the space. That's money for the internet. These dollars don't mean anything. You can raise as much as you need. You can raise as much as you need. But what is your budget? What is the expense? How much does it cost to run it? Right? That is what dictates how much money you need to raise. The raising is not the problem. What is the expense? What is the expense to run the organization? What is the expense of program? Based upon the expense is how you set your goals to generate money. And we're going to talk more about that next week. Okay. Any other questions? What are you all's ahas from this? What are your takeaways from this?
I would like to say the moment you brought up not bringing them into the operations, that I didn't even think of it that way because I was trying to figure out where's the separation in them being basically cheerleaders for the organization or the program versus the ones who operate it.
Mm-hmm. And that's unfortunately a common mistake, which is why 87 out of 100 nonprofits are not generating the revenue that they need. They got people who are on their board and are not operating in that way. Why? Because the executive director, the person who is the leader, doesn't know. And they put people in position who are not equipped. Now, I don't want to say that the people who are in leadership are not equipped because then I'd be being petty, but I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say know better and then you can do better. Know better and then you can do better, which is why I did this nonprofit leadership essentials training. Because y'all can talk about program all day, but program is not the problem. Any other thoughts? Any other comments? Any other observations?
Yes, for me, my aha was my issue is that I'm having trouble finding board members, but I do have people that are interested. And so I'm trying to figure out how to fit them in. But when you said I can train them, I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense. Because if they really want to help, then they'll stick around for training. So that helped a lot with finding board members.
Deal, good deal, good deal, good deal. How many of you all have the nonprofit startup guide? In the nonprofit startup guide, it talks about how to interview board members. Um, I have a board orientation guide about how do you how do you train your board? How do you put in their hands the materials that are going to help them raise money? Okay, I've got a whole board situation with that. But the nonprofit startup guide really does a deep dive into that interview process, the role and responsibility capacity, process as a helpful tool to you, as a helpful tool to you. Okay. Any other questions? Any other thoughts? Any other comments? All right. I think we finished on time. I want to say thank you all. The importance of viewing the board and giving board member job description is expected of them. Yeah. Again, people are running their nonprofits not like a business. They're running their nonprofit as if it's a support of the program. And that's just not what it is. And as a result of that, those organizations that are running it like a business are being more successful at raising money. Why? Because that's how they set it up. They set it up with the board understanding their role is external. But those that don't know, we just set it up because we want to run a program. We just want to do these activities. That's what we're passionate about. Then we picked people who are not equipped to help us bring in the money. Because I didn't know that that's what they were supposed to do. I didn't even think it was a business, Jan. And so that's the message that I daily try to sound. I don't know if I do it effectively or not, but I'm going to keep trying.
Ms. Jen, I do have one more question. When it comes to interviewing for the board, is that something that you can bring anyone else in almost to help you interview, or is that something you should do solo?
I I would first have the question. I would have the conversation before the interview, right? The conversation before the interview is this. I'm really thinking about expanding our board and you might be a great I've been thinking that you might be a great asset to being on the board. And they say, "Really? Why? What makes you think that?" Right? And then you're just having a conversation with them to see if that's something that you would be interested in pursuing or knowing more about. And they may say, "Well, I don't know. What's it involve?" And then you send them some of the things that are involved with being a board member. And if they say, "Well, I'm open to the conversation," then what you would do is bring in you with another board member. Now, what is the other board member's role? The other board member's role is to come in and to tell this person, "Listen, being on the board is good. We're here to help you. We're here to make sure that you have what you need to be successful as a board member." You're giving them a peer to peer, someone that they can lock arms with so that you're not doing everything yourself. And so this person is there to answer questions from a board perspective so that they understand that your job and their job are separate, but board to board is peer to peer. So in that interview process, right, you and this other person that you bring on are talking about the roles and responsibilities, and they're asking this person, "So tell me, how much time is involved?" And the board person can say, "Well, we spend about 3 hours, 6 hours a month, blah, blah, blah." They're able to speak to them peer to peer, letting them get a glimpse of what it is to be a board member from another board member. And so the two of you different perspectives. "Well, I saw this." When you're debriefing after the conversation, it's, "Well, I noticed this, or I didn't notice that, or they said this, or they said," you are able to have an impartial, objective look at this person to see if this would be a good fit. "Well, I noticed this, I'm not sure." And that's what we do when we're filling a job, right? It's not a rush decision. This is an important decision. And they should appreciate the thoroughness that you consider the position. They should appreciate that. And that you're there to answer any questions that they have. And this is what we also want to ensure that you are equipped with. Have you ever been on a board before? Have you been a part of a board conversation before? Have you been a part of a founding board where we're just getting started? And so the weight that we're having to carry right now, we anticipate will not, be long carrying, but it is a weight as a founding board that is a little heavier than other experiences. Have you ever been a part of a founding board before? Right? Being a part of a working board, a board that has an organization that's been in place for a long time, they got all the systems in place, they got all the things in place. It's like walking into a company and you walk into HR and everything, all the manuals are done, all the policies and procedures are done, all the processes have already been done. But when you're starting something, you've got to create those things. You've got to make sure those things are in place. Did I answer your question?
You did, absolutely. Yes, you did. Yeah.
What these crazy tangents? God help me.
Get with an expert. All right.
All right. Anybody else with questions, comments? All hearts and minds are clear. All right. Next week, we're going to be talking about fundraising and where money comes from. Thank you, Deborah. And where money comes from. I appreciate each and every one of you. Um, here we are. Here we are. We'll see how many of y'all finish all 6 weeks. Next week is week 4. I'm excited to spend this time with you, and I hope that I've added value in this subject matter and given you all some things to think about. All right. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. If you all go over to my YouTube, then weeks 1 and week 2 replays are there. Okay. Um, And if you search Jennifer Yarbrough on YouTube, then my channel should come up. I can paste it here. Yeah, I'll be happy to do that. All right.
Jen, I got a quick question. I caught you earlier today about this new book that you're putting out that's 88 pages about grant writing, giving examples, giving all the rules. Where do I find that?
That is, where do you find that?
Because when you were just giving us a glance, a snippet of what was in the book, because I already got the nonprofit guide, but this one, when I was listening to you, you gave out how to research, where to go for things, what is expected when you do put a grant together, how it is supposed to be written. It was so awesome. I was outdone. And then I do want to say one thing to the group. I just went and checked out a nonprofit nonprofit course at Johns Hopkins. Do you know they charge $50,000 without the fees? I just want to tell everybody, Jen is giving her life to us for a little bit of nothing. And I started figuring that stuff out. You take 50,000 without the fees, the books, and all the stuff, and there is no hand holding. So I just want to say to everybody, God blessed us with somebody great, and we need to take advantage. And all we're doing is helping each other. She's helping us make money, and we need to help her make some too, so she can keep doing this for the rest of us. So that's all I had to say.
Thank you for that. This is the link to my channel. I've had people who come to me and said that they've been to Johns Hopkins, they've been to Duke, and they've taken PhDs in nonprofit executive leadership management. And they've come to me and they say, Jen, I learned more from you in 30 minutes than I learned from 6 years, because they teach theory. They teach case studies. They don't teach the day-to-day. The people that leave those programs understand the theory of the nonprofit, but they don't know how to run a day-to-day of the nonprofit. They don't know how to build the team, how to train the team. They don't know what to say to a donor and a funder, because that's not what they studied. That's not what they studied. And I come in, and I know it's overwhelming because most people are like, I thought it was just a program. I had no idea. And my counterparts, they charge a lot of money to put you in a group and throw a video at you, but they expect you to have the experience to execute what's on that video. And most don't. And those of us who look like me don't have a mentor, don't have anybody who looks like them to be able to speak a language the way they can hear it, to say, this is what you do, and this is what you do to those people that don't look like you. I try not to be discouraged. I try very hard not to be discouraged, because we as a people don't like knowledge. They say, hide it in a book. They won't read it. And it's true. It's true. But thank you for saying that. I try to offer what I can, what I have time for, because I have a whole business. I have a whole business. I got employees. So I'm trying my best to assist where I can. And I hope it brings value. At least I can say I did the best I could to help the people get out of the wilderness. I did the best I could to help and to give as much as I could. All right. Thank you so much. That is the link to my YouTube. For those of you that are interested in the guides and the other things that I have available, I put the link in there. Teach Me, Jen. There's all my guides and things like that in there. Right now, I'm running a special on for Valentine's Day. Anybody who doesn't have the guide or who wants the guide, get it. I think it's a great tool. It's a great tool if you can afford it. All right. Thank you guys so very much. I will see you all next Thursday. I look forward to our Thursdays together. We only got 2 more left. Dang, it's going fast. And so you guys have a great week, and I will see you all next week. All right. I'll be putting up this replay within the next few days. Okay.